Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 6 of the League One Review Show with me, 18 Dapper, and special guest to my right or left, however you guys are looking at it, is Lizzie. And we've got her on the show today because Doncaster Rovers over the last couple of weeks have set up a women's supporters club. Lizzie has been part of helping that get off of the ground. We've seen her game too, kind of getting rolling as well over the last couple of months, and it's nice to see Donny Rovers getting involved with that. So the floor is yours, Lizzie. Let us know how the first event went and what kind of plans are coming up over the coming weeks, months, seasons.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be more than just one season. It was really positive yesterday. We met up in the Bellevue bar and I was a bit apprehensive that it would just be me drinking on my own. But we had sort of 8 or 9 people, a lot of people sort of turning up just to say hello, a lot of men just coming over and being like, good luck with it, Lizzie. Like, we're really happy that you're doing something like this. And that's just amazing. I don't think there are very many clubs where the supporters are that solidly behind something like this. It's quite a nice thing to see. We've partnered up with Her Game 2 as a club now, which is amazing because there's not that many clubs that have officially done that yet. It's kind of a new thing. And Beth, who's someone else who's assisting with the creation of this group, is on Radio Sheffield tomorrow morning at 7:30. So if you're up early enough, then you should listen to it. She'll be on with Sean Lockwood from Club Doncaster, who's given us the most amazing backing. I honestly could not be more thankful for him and his team. They've just supported us from the minute that Dean suggested it would be a good idea to now to come in to see me at the bar to make sure I wasn't sat on my own drinking. And just, yeah, it was really positive, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. You know, we've expanded the sort of core group of women that are involved, you know, the ones that we've seen are quite prevalent on social media and I've been able to meet now and put a face to their names and stuff. And I think from there, we've just got to make it more welcoming for female fans to go to games, especially sort of little girls as well, or sort of women who've never been to a game before, but also to make sure that, you know, it's a social event, isn't it? It's about meeting like-minded. I was saying to you, I don't have that many Rovers friends outside of my dad. So it's quite nice to have like, it's true. It's quite nice to have some like women that are my age that have watched Rovers all of their lives and I've never ever seen them. And it's just really nice. It's nice to know you're not alone, I think, especially when you're a woman watching football. It can be a bit isolating. But yeah, it's good. It's all going well.
I can't speak on behalf of you guys, but I can imagine that it could be quite isolating. It is a very male-dominated sport and fan base. So yeah, any movement that gets more people through the gates at the Keepmoat, be it
exactly
whatever gender, whatever race, religion, I really don't care, as long as it bums on seats and they're supporting the team through thin and thin at the minute, but
yeah,
hopefully through thick and thin over the next couple of seasons. So yeah, fantastic movement. It's great to see the Rovers linking and affiliating themselves with Her Game 2 as well. So hopefully see good things coming from that over the next, like I say, weeks, months and seasons.
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful. So if you've not seen the show before, what we do now is we'll go through past games, this weekend's games, but we've got one to look at from the midweek, the Lincoln-Rotherham game. We will focus on the Doncaster Rovers versus Morecambe game. Fantastic win for us. It's been a long time coming. But yeah, we will start with Lincoln-Rotherham midweek. And for me, this one, just absolutely bemused as to how Rotherham have not come away with 3 points from this one. I don't know if you've seen the highlights, Liz, but 26 shots, 8 on target. Lincoln only 9 shots and 3. Possession, pretty similar, but for me, Rotherham should have come away with the 3 points on this one.
Yeah, it's a hard one though, isn't it? Because Sincil Bank is such a fortress. Like, I feel like it's a really hard place to go and play because they sell out pretty much every week and they've got a real solid community supporting them. That's got to be the only reason. It must just be a hard place to play with fans there.
Yeah, I mean, is it the 619 squadron at Lincoln, or am I thinking of something else there?
Quite possible. I'm honestly not sure, but I know they do quite a lot in terms of, I mean, Liam Scully's there, isn't he? Who used to work at Club Doncaster, and I think he does a great job in terms of fan engagement. And, you know, the Cowley brothers really built a culture of wanting to go to watch your local team there when they were there. I work in Lincolnshire, so there's a lot of Lincoln fans that I deal with on a daily basis, and it's just a hard place to go. I think we'll struggle there no matter how well we're playing. I mean, Rotherham are going to go up though, I think. Smith is just keeping him for a start is just unbelievable, and he just looks. He's just a proper striker, isn't he? Like just
he's a target man. He's somebody who bothers defenders. I think when he's on the pitch, you can see that a couple of defenders are already thinking we've got to watch this guy, or he's gonna punish us, and he punishes more teams than what he doesn't.
Yeah, he punished us.
Yeah, definitely.
Really punished us.
I agree with you on that one. I think Rotherham will be up there or thereabouts, but we will come on to them. I think straight away. Well, straight after the Doncaster game, because another good result this weekend for Rotherham. But let's move on to our game. Doncaster 1, Morecambe 0. If you are in the chat or if you are in the stream, please pop a comment in the chat. And if there's a question for me or Lizzie, we'll try and answer it throughout this half an hour show as well, in between talking about the games. But we were both at this game. It was it a must win?
Yes.
I think,
Definitely.
It feels weird saying that so early on in the season. Only 6-7 games into the season, and this was massive. I think the build-up over the week from Richie Wellens and the media saying that the club had started to come together a little bit more. Players had been training together. It was all guns blazing. The reins were going to get released, and I was expecting more goals, to be honest, with how much it got built up.
Yeah.
But quite a cagey game. What were your thoughts on it?
I mean, it wasn't the prettiest performance of the season by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think we looked half as good as we did against Sheffield Wednesday, for example, or in the first half against Wigan. But we won. We scored a goal and we won. And we held on to that win, even though it was only for 10 minutes. I was still convinced that they were going to get 2. Especially, they've got a good team, Morecambe. They've got a good manager in Robinson. I'd have had him here. I think
his name was kind of banded around when we were
it was in the top 3, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was one of the 3 that did the plan, like with the whiteboards and stuff. But I think Wellens built it up to be a must-win game because, frankly, you look at our run of games, and this is on paper the easiest one, and they've still had an amazing start. I don't think anybody expected them to win the games that they won early on in the season and to compete quite as much. I mean, the kind of team, I expect them to go straight back down, but I don't think they will. They're really holding their own.
Yeah, I had them down in the bottom 4, but I think the sum of all the parts is greater than the whole. Is that the same? Something like that?
Something like that.
the teamwork is fantastic, and I think it shows some of the results that they've been getting. Performance-wise yesterday, I thought, like you say, it was not a pretty game to watch, but a win is a win. Penalty decision.
Well,
what were your thoughts on that?
If he did that in the street, he'd be doing time. I think it was really bad. Like, you probably had a better view of it than me because I sort of sit about as far away from the incident as you can. But even I could tell that was a blatant foul. It just grabbed him and pulled him to the floor, and nobody seemed to notice.
Yeah, from our angle, it was literally he's gone around him, pulled him down.
Yeah,
I can't believe the referee's not seeing it. I can't believe he's not giving it. Jack Ball in the chat. Got to be honest, definite pen, took his legs out.
Definitely.
It's one of those where if it had gone against us, we'd have been absolutely fuming.
I know.
Not seeing a Stonewall penalty or such a Stonewall penalty in a long, long time, and for it not to be given kind of made me think potentially the look's starting to change.
Yeah. Did you see what Richie had to say about it?
I didn't.
Richie was saying he thinks it might have been let off because the free kick before it wasn't really a free kick, and he was kind of trying to even it out. But I don't think that works when it comes to those kind of challenges, to be honest. I think I could understand it when you give a foul from a corner that was probably a goal kick, but I'm not really sure it's the same when it's an actual. It was a rugby tackled him. I mean, I enjoyed it. I like that kind of passion and sort of desperation to win. I think that's something that you don't get a lot of anymore. And I mean, it's nice to see, but also it's really bad in it. It's just not great. Doesn't make
definite penalty for me. Our luck turned on the day, but having said that, with Dahlberg, what a save in the dying minutes, 4 minutes added on, and I think it was the 7th minute of added time. Stockton, who has been scoring for fun, gets his opportunity, kind of beats Anderson to the ball. I think Anderson, he had a fairly decent game. There were one or two misplaced passes, but I think we can put that down to the amount of time that he's been out injured. First game back from injury, but Stockton got the better of Anderson once, got his shot away, and Dahlberg did well to get down and save to his right. That was down your end, I believe.
It was. I've got a very good view of that entire thing. It was terrifying. Like the panic when those sort of things happen is just, it's hard to put into words, because you've always, as a Rovers fan, maybe just as any football fan, but I can't talk about that. You just always expect conceding in the last minute. I think it's probably from that season under Ferguson where we conceded in like the last 2 minutes of extra time for about 8 consecutive games. We were scoring in like 90 plus 30, we're like conceding like 90 plus 13 and stuff like that. So I always panic. I just I'm never settled until it's full time. But he's amazing, Dahlberg. I think I just can't understand why he's here. Like, why is he not on the bench for Watford? Why has he come to somewhere like this?
Well, Watford have got Foster and
what is his name? Oh no,
his name's gone.
I like Ben Foster though. We could just talk about him. He's lovely.
Yeah, great YouTube channel as well. Cycling GK.
It's really nice.
Some good fun. Bachmann.
There you go. Well done.
Bachmann, and he had a very good season last season. I think it was something like 14 clean sheets in 23 games. So I think Dahlberg potentially is third choice there, and we're better to send Aloni to develop than
Sonny Donny. Yeah.
And to be fair, for me, Dahlberg's been one of our best players throughout this season.
Yeah, him and Tommy Rowe, I think, just absolutely stood out. I think Bostock at the beginning of the season, he's not had as much of a look in recently, but him and Dahlberg and Rowe have just been a complete other level. It's like they must feel awful playing for a team that's just doing so badly when they're so good as individuals. Like, I would hate that.
I think what we're finding though is everybody's singing off the same hymn sheet at Doncaster Rovers at the minute. They're coming out and saying that it's feeling positive from a training point of view, and the results will come with the performances that we're getting. So I think a little bit more patience, and hopefully we'll see the corner turned fully.
Even Thiago looked really good, didn't he? I thought he looked a lot better than he did last time I watched him play. Like, he was making the right runs and getting to the ball. It was just what he did with the ball after. He's also definitely lost a lot of weight. Yeah.
So that's
what, he looks well, doesn't he? I mean, we just got to see, haven't we? If he comes off the bench and makes an impact, which he did, you know, he came on, we scored quite quickly after, then that's all. I'm happy with that. That's enough for me.
Yeah. Liam has asked a decent question. So Rowe was developed at left back at Bristol City, but surely he's got to play further up the pitch. So with me, Chris, my dad, Max were talking about this yesterday, and I do think he would be better suited further up the pitch. I think he'd influence more games further up the pitch. But who would you put at left back?
Cameron John. Surely, when he's fit. But I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because I'm not sure Brandon Horton's quite up to it yet. I think he needs more game time he has potential, perhaps.
I think Horton needs to do what kind of you've just said about Chakir coming on from the bench and not having too much pressure on him to perform consistently.
He'll probably play on Tuesday, won't he, against Man City?
Yeah.
I'd guess. Yeah.
But I'd agree with Liam there. I think Rowe would be better suited up the pitch. I think he'd be able to influence games much more from that position. So
I find it so strange that he plays left back, and he played left back at Bristol, because when Darren Ferguson used to make him play left back when he played for us, he was so mardy about it. He used to hate it. He was just like wander around with his hands on his hips and just like, and now he signed for us as a left back, which I can't get my head around.
We'll take it. Best left back in the league.
It's just one of the best players in the league. Just having him on the pitch full stop. I mean, the fact that he's scored twice from left back just says it all, doesn't it? Like, he can still get forward. I think the way that we play allows him to do that, probably more so than Noel. But I would just play Cameron John at left back when he's fit. But I know that's controversial, but I just think Cameron John brings a lot in terms of his diagonal passes, and like, he's also way too good to be playing for us, I think. So just having him on the pitch will be good. Yeah.
But Tommy Rowe got the winning goal. Very surprised that he won a header. Especially, I said it on the match day vlog. We've got big lads in there with Roshan Williams, Tom Anderson, and Chakir. And then Tommy Rowe's the one who leaps highest and heads it across the keeper. Decent finish to win the game.
He's got goals in him, though, hasn't he? It's always, when he's on the pitch, you know that there's a chance you're going to score. You know, me and my dad have said so many times this season, like, who's going to get our goal if we're going to get one? we're always like, well, it'll be Tommy Rowe. Who
Tommy
else
Rowe.
can it be? Yeah.
It'll just be Tommy Rowe. So
We just have fullbacks that score for us. That's it. Seaman as well.
We've got Jonathan in the chat, a MK Dons fan. We'll be happy this weekend as well. We'll come on to your game shortly. Buzzing for you guys. Good result, and hopefully build on that for a couple of weeks anyway. Yeah, we've got MK Dons coming up
I know.
shortly.
I can't hear the end of it.
Yeah, I think our Twitter feed will be blowing up on that game. We've also got Liam Martin in the chat, a Plymouth fan. We've got Plymouth next Saturday. We're going to that game. Great win for us at the weekend. On to Pompey Tuesday, and then win that game. Hopefully, if we do go top, and then it would be great to going into the Donny game. So Plymouth in good form, and we'll come on to those shortly as well. But first things first, it is Bolton against Rotherham. We said that we're going to head back to Rotherham. We said that we think that they'll be up there or thereabouts come the end of the season, and a good result against a decent looking Bolton team. And against a hostile crowd, there was around 20,000 there, and it was pretty much the Ben Wiles show.
Yeah, he's looked really good. He's kind of come out of nowhere, hasn't he? He's not played very much this season, and he's looked really good. I mean, I think Bolton's a hard ground to go to, especially when they had like some family day, didn't they? So it was just absolutely packed.
Yeah,
I think it's a hard place to travel to. I mean, when we've been there, I don't think we've ever performed particularly well. But yeah,
we may have done the season that we should have gone there.
Yeah, well, we won't get into
I'll
that.
Get that
one in. Try not to think about that.
But
so good, aren't they?
Performed very well there. Bolton, plenty of shots, but not really getting them on target. Which, if you're going to have shots, you've got to make the keeper work to want to come away with anything. Yeah,
I mean, all those stats are well and good. 72% possession, 17 shots, whatever. But there's only one stat that matters, and
that's the one at the top.
That Rotherham beat them 2-0, and that's why they're so good at that's why Paul Warne's so good at what he does, isn't it? He knows how to do well in League One. He's
such a
really good at it. Yeah, and they've got so many options as well. Like the squad is like it's got the perfect amount of depth to it. Like, when they're bringing Will Grigg on, like, in the second half, and we would have started him every game if he'd come to us, and that just sums it up. Like, they've just got so many options. I'm very jealous of them, but
it's very jealous. But it is nice to see. We said it before we came on live. It's nice to see local teams doing well. We just don't like them doing well when we face them.
Especially if they're going to score 6, I find that's particularly rubbish.
The less said about that, the better.
Definitely.
One of the surprising results of the weekend is Sheffield Wednesday 1, Shrewsbury 1. Darren Moore at the helm, and listening to Radio Sheffield, it sounded like a very familiar story. So lots of the ball, lots of pretty football, but not much up front. Berahino gets his first goal, and then Barry Bannon missing a penalty turned the game on its head. Yeah,
I mean, Radio Sheffield was horrendous, wasn't it, last night? I mean, they really are starting to turn on him. And it was interesting because when you did your match day vlog, I remember being just blown away by how behind Darren Moore the fans you spoke to were.
Yes.
They got relegated. I know that was because of financial issues, but they didn't play the best football. They lost quite a lot of games by quite high score lines and stuff, which is very reminiscent of when he was at Doncaster. I think drawing with Shrewsbury is just not a good result for a team like Wednesday, when they're expected to do really well. But I don't know, I just don't think they will. I just don't think you can play pretty football that consistently in League One. You've got to have a bit more to it than that. You've got to have the option, a plan B that's more physical, more direct. And in my experience, Darren Moore doesn't have that really. He certainly didn't for us.
Doesn't have a plan B really, does he?
No, and it certainly doesn't do anything that's direct. It's a lot of passing to the midfielder, passing to Tom Anderson, then to someone else, like along the back four. And I find that I'm old school. I find that really hard to watch. I found it hard to watch via iFollow, never mind actually the ground. And it's a heavy shirt to wear, isn't it, Chef Wednesday? So if the fans start to turn, I don't think their fortune will, be good because there's a lot of pressure. Yeah, that's so true.
I was just about to say this. I think teams are starting to realise that cut Barry Bannon out, and you've got a good chance of coming away with a point or more from Sheffield Wednesday, either at your home ground or at Hillsborough. So nail on the head.
Yeah, agreed.
Disappointing for Chef Wednesday. I'm sure Punk Chef will be on in the next couple of weeks or so. So we'll catch up with him, and he'll be able to tell us a little bit more in depth about what's going on at Sheffield Wednesday. On to Crewe against Burton. So Crewe winning 2-0, a result that we didn't really want as Donny fans, because it was our chance of getting off of the foot of the table. But good results for everybody in and around the bottom four yesterday. And for me, a fortuitous first goal, kind of big deflection from Bostwick to take it past the keeper. Nasty challenge from Lakin to take them down to 10, and then from there there was only really one winner. And the solo effort from Bennett towards the end of the game was superb. It rounded off a decent day for Crewe.
Yeah. He looks proper good, Bennett, doesn't he? When I was watching the highlights this morning, I was just blown away by just how those kind of one-man goals are something that I think Rovers miss. We haven't got anybody who could do that. And also,
there's nobody who can get it at the feet and drive.
Yeah, it honestly also blows my mind that Bostwick is still playing in League One. I'm sorry, he is awful. He's so rubbish. I don't understand it. Like, defenses in League Two are probably above his level, and I honestly just every time he's played against us, he's passed it in, or he passed to a steward when he played for Peterborough. I don't know if you've seen that video. He passed to a steward because they were like, that just sums him up. I think he's awful. And when I saw his own goal, I was not surprised. I just can't believe he's a professional footballer. It's mad.
Somebody's got to be, and he must be doing something right. But
maybe he's good in training.
yeah, maybe. But yeah, good result for Crewe, and not too positive for us.
Not great for us, no.
And another one which wasn't great for us, Ipswich, also winning. They've got their first win of the season. So the three teams who were winless, had a winless start to League One, all won at the weekend. But for me, Ipswich massively underperforming this season. They spent much more money than what we have. Maybe not on transfers. I think they've got quite a lot of free transfers, but wage budget wise is
it's madness.
huge. Heard rumour that the keeper was on like 17,000 a week, and then they brought another keeper in. I don't know how true that is, but from an Ipswich point of view, it's been a poor start to the season. But to go to Lincoln and get a 1-0 win, as we said earlier on, it's a tough place to go. So they'll be very happy to fetch the 3 points back to Ipswich. Great header to take the lead. Was a goal disallowed. That was a little contentious, but Ipswich finally get their first win of the season. So happy fans down there, but fairly even game. I'd say Lincoln probably just edged it on the stats, but as Lizzie said earlier, there's only one stat that matters, and that's the big one at the top.
Yeah, well, I think it'll be first win of many, to be honest. I think Paul Cook is the best manager in League One, and I think he's been dealt, he's unlucky. It's the same as us. You get a whole new 11, they're not going to play well straight away, especially with the pre-season that pretty much every team's had. And I think Scott Fraser will be instrumental in their surge up the table, I think. My friend's an MK Dons fan. He was so upset when he left because he's just properly good. It's just unbelievable. I do think they'll do well, and I think they'll probably batter us in a couple of weeks' time. So.
Don't be saying that. Positive thinking, Lizzie. Positive thinking. We need it. But yeah, I agree. They were one of my team's tipped to be in the top two, at a minimum top six. And the start of the season's a shock to I think everybody in League One. But once that team's gelled, they will be forced to be reckoned with.
I agree.
Another surprise result on Saturday was Portsmouth 1, Cambridge 2. Another team that has come up from League Two and settled in very quickly. So lovely goal for the second. Curtis has opened his account for this season, but Pompey won't be happy with this result.
I don't think so. But I think again, Cambridge are another team we're due to play soon, aren't they? Yeah. We postponed that fixture, so obviously they're going to do well now because we've got to play them. But I think, given that they've lost a lot of their best players, a similar situation to Cheltenham, really, to Wrexham and to us and to various other sort of clubs, they've settled in, and I think Portsmouth fans will be so disappointed. Again, it's a heavy shirt, isn't it? The Portsmouth shirt,
very
big fan base, and I think Curtis is a really good player, so I guess that's a positive for him. But shock result, but I'm happy for him.
Good start for Pompey over the first couple of weekends, but tailed off a little bit, so they'll be wanting to find that early season form. Moving on to Gillingham versus MK Dons. Jonathan will be happy to hear about this one. Absolutely dominated. The red card obviously has a big part to play. Silly challenge for the second yellow. But definite yellow, red card. And as I say, absolutely game changing. And from there, MK Dons have not looked back. Very stylish football. Ex-Rovers player Max Waters scores. But for me, the goal which stood out for me was the second Peter Kioso. Such good football. Brilliant interplay. And as I say, stylish football. Lovely to watch.
Yeah, they are really good to watch. I mean, they've recruited so well this summer. I honestly think they'll finish top 6. I don't think there's any question about it. Twine, Waters, Troy Parrott, who why is he in League One? And Marisa as well. They've got an unbelievable team, and they've got a lot of depth too. Like, Isa's been injured. They've not struggled, have they? They've won 4-1 today. And he's fit for the Donny game apparently as well, so that'll be good.
Brilliant.
But, the red card it's very Steve Evans in it. Steve Evans football all over that. I wasn't surprised. But good result. Can't wait to play him.
I mean, that possession's ridiculous. 15% possession. As a Gillingham fan, you just want to forget this one very, very quickly. But as an MK fan,
I'm pretty pleased.
I thought bumps in the road maybe when the gaffer went to Swansea, but seems to have been pretty seamless. So very happy. Moving on to another surprise result. There've been plenty of surprise results this weekend. Fleetwood 2, Sunderland 2, and you mentioned earlier when we were talking about the decision for the penalty in the Rovers game about potentially the free kick wasn't a free kick, so he's balanced out decisions. I think there may have been a balancing out of decisions on this one as well. Sunderland going 2-0 up. Penalty that they got given, in my opinion, was soft. Didn't really see too much in it. And then the incident down at the other end of the pitch on the 97th minute, another soft penalty to give away. So I think potentially referee balancing decisions up. But looking at the stats, fairly even game, but at 2-0, you'd think Sunderland would want to see that one out.
Yeah, it's a really good result for Fleetwood, isn't it? I think Sunderland have got such a good, even after losing Power and Wyke and, others, like they've still got an unbelievable team. And I do think they must be nearing their time to get out of this league. They're not a League One club, are they? They never will be. And getting a draw against Sunderland, if you're a Fleetwood fan, you'd be delighted, wouldn't you?
Absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
So we're not too far away from the end. We've got a couple more grounds to go around. AFC Wimbledon 0, Plymouth 1. Not a scoreline that we wanted to see as well, because we've got Plymouth next Saturday. They are performing extremely well. Ryan Hardy, great composure for his goal to slot it away. And concerning thing for me is Plymouth's defence. Defences win competitions. Defences win titles. Do I think Plymouth are going to win the League One title? No, I don't. But if their defence continues to be as good as what it currently is, I think they'll be there or thereabouts in and around the playoff picture come the end of the season. So, decent result away from home for them. AFC Wimbledon not doing too shabbily themselves, just outside of the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay, even else, you're right. You got that bang on. I don't want to go to Plymouth when they're playing like that. I wanted them to get battered, so I'd be a bit more excited about it, but it's fine.
Yeah. On to Cheltenham against Oxford, another potential shot result. I had Oxford down as contenders as well. Such a competitive league, and I think this is showing where teams have come up and settled in so well. Another ex-Rovers player, Alfie May, hitting the back of the net. Seems it's a consistent theme. Every single week I'm coming on to this show, be it whoever's the guest, we're talking about ex-Rovers players finding the back of the net.
Scoring, especially for Cheltenham. Pretty much every goal they've scored this season has been from Williams, Blair or May, hasn't it? It's not been very many from anyone else. Williams has gotten loads. I think I was saying to you before we went live, like, I feel like if I had kids, I would still be less proud of them than I am of Alfie May when he scores for Cheltenham. I just love him. Like, he's just so good. I want him to do well so badly, and to see him win League Two and to go on and compete and prove that he is of League One standard. It's just great. As long as he didn't score against us, I'll be happy with that, because he's just lovely.
He put so much effort in a Rovers shirt, and I think as Rovers fans, that's all we ask for. 100% effort. If you're not particularly good, then as long as the effort level's shown, we'll back you. But obviously, we'll have a few things to say if you are absolutely shocking. But I think 60% of what we want is the effort level. But not too bad. 9 shots. The one on target goes in the back of the net. Oxford will be looking at that thinking a missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
2 more games to go. Accrington Stanley 1, Wigan Athletic 4. Wigan, absolute ridiculous team.
It's annoying,
at this
isn't it?
level. And to be fair, Accrington have had a fantastic start. So 2-1 defeat at Wigan last week doesn't seem so bad now, looking at this result.
Well, it does still seem a bit bad, but
any defeat is bad. But I mean, beating a team who are in the form that Accrington Stanley are in, 4-1 in their own back garden, and it's
definitely
it makes teams sit up and take note. Charlie White getting his first couple of goals. Did you see the celebration after his first one?
Ridiculous with that.
the fan on the pitch completely takes him out. That's one that you don't want to be.
Amazing. I loved that. I can't help it. Oh, it'd been hilarious. That's hilarious. That's what I like about football, just the ridiculous of moments like that. I can't believe it's taken this long for Charlie White to score. I thought he'd get about 6 against us. So, I do quite like him. I'm glad he's scoring now after our game. So
he's off the mark. A beautiful goal for his first, a little dink over the keeper. Not a bad finish for the second as well. So Wigan currently firing on all cylinders. Definitely a team to watch over the coming weeks in League One. Accrington Stanley, they'll be looking to brush that one off quickly and get back into the form that they've currently been in. And the final game going around the grounds is Wycombe 2, Charlton 1. And I am surprised to still see Adkins in a job at the minute. I think he's very close to being pushed out of the door, because it's been a very poor start for Charlton. 13 shots, 1 on target, not good enough. And that 1 on target came in the 92nd minute. The game's already gone at that point. Quality finish for the first. But having said that, it was late. Charlton could have equalised late on as well. There was a bit of a scramble in the box. But poor start for Charlton.
Yeah, I like Nigel Atkins though. Again, I think he's one of those managers that will come good with time. I think they've signed a lot of players, haven't they, Charlton, over the summer? They just need some consistency, and that is absolutely proven that consistency is key with Wycombe. I saw this morning that Gareth Ainsworth has been there for 9 years now. Like, there's no wonder that they're punching above their weight in League One, and they had a season in the Championship. They've got loads of money from it. They've got a really good squad. They're playing well. And it's because they're consistent. It's because they've kept a manager and they've stuck with him. You look at teams like Sheffield United, who used to cycle through managers. They stuck with Chris Wilder, and they went up to the Premier League. Nottingham Forest, who can't keep a manager for more than a couple of months,
struggling.
Basically haven't had a manager consistently since Brian Clough, and they're struggling. And that just says it all. They need to stick with Atkins. I think Atkins is a great coach. I would love to have had him here because he was available when Darren Moore got sacked.
Yeah.
He was newly available at that point, and so was Paul Cook. And both of those had a driven to the keep out to come to us. And I think they just need to give it some time. That's the
problem with football nowadays, though. It's a commodity that is in short supply.
Yeah, definitely.
So that is going around the ground. Some shock results, some results that were expected, and one result that was very much needed, because looking down at the bottom of the table, we're still there, but we're not rooted anymore.
No.
4 points. Gillingham just outside of the bottom 4 with Ipswich on 6. So it's looking a little bit more healthy than what it was last week. But unfortunately, everybody else around has won.
Yeah, well,
or picked up a result. So it's very tight, and I think we've said it numerous times over this stream and previous streams. It is going to be a very, very tight league this year. You look at the likes of Ipswich down there, Charlton down there, Portsmouth in 15th, Oxford in 14th. Big teams that were expected to be there or thereabouts.
So many big clubs. So many enormous clubs. It's like, it just blows my mind that some of the size of some of these clubs that are in our league. It's hardly a shock, is it, that we're probably not going to contend for the playoffs in a league that's competitive.
Yeah.
That's that competitive even. And yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? I just think, my dad said to me, my dad's a lot more positive than I am. He says to me, we are 9 points off the playoffs with a game in hand. So it's not all over yet.
That is very, very positive.
I know. And I'm looking to see how far we are from safety, but he's looking at the playoffs. I'm like, well, I'm not going that far, Dad. But
love the optimism.
It's very early on in the season, is what I'm trying to say. We need to, give Richie till Christmas, I think.
Definitely. We're not 10 games in yet. The table's starting to take shape. I mean, you look at the top half of the table, Wigan and Sunderland up there, both on 16 points.
I think there's a couple of teams that will drop, though. I think a couple of teams in that top half will drop down. I think teams like Wimbledon and Cheltenham, maybe Burton.
Yeah, you'd expect a couple of the teams in the bottom half of the table to be replacing those. Sheff Wednesday in 12th, they'll be disappointed with that. But hopefully one of those teams replacing.
Yeah, maybe. I hope so.
Burton. But we will see. I mean, that win hopefully kickstarts our season. But yeah, great start for Wigan, great start for Sunderland. Game in hand over MK Dons as well, so could extend that lead in the top two.
Yeah, excellent.
And that brings us to the end of episode 6 of the League One review. Thank you, Lizzie, for joining us. A link to the women's supporters group is in the description down below if you're watching this now. Or watching it on repeat, it will be on the channel shortly. And then there's also a link to the Her Game 2 Twitter in the description down below. So thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you for having me on.
Pleasure chatting football with you. It's been great. So hopefully all you guys watching have enjoyed it as well. If you have, big thumbs up on it for us, please. Comments in the section down below. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.